Hey, Kristen, how's it tracking?
With Carvana Value Tracker.
What else?
Oh, it's tracking. In fact, Value Surge Alert trucks up 2.5%. Vans down 1.7%.
Just as predicted.
Mm-hmm.
So, we gonna...
I don't know. Could sell, could hold.
The power to always know our car's worth.
Exhilarating, isn't it?
Tracking.
Always know your car's worth with Carvana Value Tracker.
Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Wednesday morning to you. Time for Charleston's Talk Show, the Dave Allen Show, 580 Live, the voice of Charleston, WCHS, from the Jared Construction Studios. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Jared Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit jared-construction.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, Spring Street, Charleston. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor, Virginia Street, Charleston. Visit bestmastertailor.com. Ryan Nicholson, the senior producer in charge of things today. Coming up a little bit later on in the show, a big announcement yesterday on the reclassification of high school sports teams in West Virginia. And as you may imagine, there's a tad bit of controversy about that. The voice of high school sports in West Virginia, Fred Persinger, will join us to break it all down for us. Also, it is National Library Week. We'll be joined by Megan Tarbett from the Putnam County Library System. And, of course, your calls and texts are welcome anytime throughout the show. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor text, 304-935-5008. As we do from time to time, let's welcome in, though, our good friend from BridgeValley, Dr. Casey Sachs. Welcome to the show, good doctor.
Thank you. Good morning, Dave.
Thank you for being here with us. Now, the last time we had you in studio, you were quite impressed by our new digs here, but then somehow Steve Animal of our sister station, 98.7 A Mountain, ended up getting involved and coming in the studio and as well. So that's probably why you're not here today, right?
No, actually, it was just happenstance, but maybe a good excuse.
A good excuse. I would go with that. I want to talk about nursing, and particularly as it pertains to some of the partnerships that you have with other institutions throughout the state, particularly West Virginia University. Talk about that a little bit.
So WVU Medicine has really stepped up in trying to help fill our state's nursing shortage. One of the things that they've done with BridgeValley is helped create the Aspiring Nurse Program, where they choose students who they pay to have go to school. So the state covers tuition and fees. The state has made some really generous financial aid commitments to students who don't already have a college degree. And then WVU Medicine comes alongside and says, let's give you a paycheck for going to school. It's that important that you become a nurse.
And again, that's a great partnership with WVU Medicine. I want to make sure that people realize that and they see the importance, because as you and I talk just about every time you're on the show, we have a shortage when it comes to nurses in the state of West Virginia.
It's true. It's a huge healthcare need. All of us need our state to have good nurses. Any of us could get sick at any time, and we want to make sure there's beds in hospitals and really good care for the people who we love and want to take care of. And that's a problem not only in West Virginia. I do want to point out that's a problem throughout the country as our population, and we know about it here, Dr. Sachs, in West Virginia, our population is simply getting older. It's true. As we have an aging population, unfortunately, one of the side effects is that we need more health care.
Talking again with Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Snap Fitness. Snap offers a wide array of professional wellness services, including customized personal training, licensed recovery experts, and a staff of dietitians. 5 convenient locations: Charleston, Hurricane, Winfield, Barbersville, and Milton. Visit snapfitness.com for more information. I've talked about this in the past, Dr. Sachs, and that's BridgeValley's continuing commitment to working with area employers on various projects and offering customized training programs. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's something we actually love to do. If you're a business and you're listening today and you have some people and you're like, gosh, they're good employees, but they don't have quite the skills that we need for whatever our new processes are, we can help train them. And so it's actually a really fun thing. Like ServiceWire has come in and they've been a great partner. They said to all of their employees, here are things that we need to upskill to make our business more profitable. Who wants to learn these things? And so they took volunteers who are then signing up for courses here at BridgeValley, and we customize exactly what it is that they need because we want ServiceWire to get what it is so that they can make their process better.
Let me ask you this. If a business is listening right now, a business owner or managers or whatever are listening to this and they say, look, I need employees. I need to partner up with somebody like BridgeValley. What do they need to do? What's that process look like for them to get on that, to kind of get that partnership with BridgeValley?
So the person they really need is the dean for whatever area it is that they need. So if you tell me you need an accountant, you'll be talking to Christy Dixon. But if you tell me you need a manufacturer, you'll be talking to Norm Mortensen. I'm happy to be that go-between. So lots of business partners reach out to me and say, hey, Dr. Sachs, will you help connect me to the right people? And then depending on what they tell me their needs are, they end up with a subject matter expert in that area.
And these are jobs that are of various types. I mean, I think sometimes, Dr. Sachs, when we think about these programs, we probably think about just blue-collar types, and that's certainly a part of it. You mentioned ServiceWire, and we mentioned some of these other companies that you dealt with, but really it goes across the board as far as the different types of companies, right?
It really does. Huge need in the area is accountants, for example, and all kinds of businesses tell us they need IT help. So it might be a person who's doing IT kinds of functions, but in a healthcare facility or in a nursing home. And so it's not necessarily what you would think of. Like you would think a nursing home needs nurses, and they do, but they also need HR support and IT support and all kinds of other things.
Talking again with Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley. And Dr. Sachs, if you travel a great deal like I do, well, I don't travel as much as I used to because they kind of keep me tied to a microphone, for about 4 or 5 hours a day here now. But as I have done in the past, and many of our listeners do, I'm sure you know the shape of our roads in West Virginia. And look, I know I got a lot of respect for them. They're working on them, but it can still be a little frustrating. As you well know, you travel a lot too. Now, I understand BridgeValley is offering a certification training program with the Department of Highways. Is that right?
We do bridge training with them. It's really great. If somebody wants to work on a bridge in the state of West Virginia, we really care that that's a safe bridge. We really want that to be a certified person. We want somebody who knows what they're doing. And the Highways Department has worked with our faculty here to do certification for folks who are working on bridges and highways. And
we have a regular texter to the show. And again, I don't know who the texters are, but we have a regular texter of the show who seems to be very concerned about the state of our bridges in West Virginia, particularly here in the Charleston area. So I'm sure that'll be news to that. That'll be great news, music to that texter's ears for sure.
Yeah, great. Terrific.
Let's talk about some of the fun stuff you got going on campus. You guys have always got something going on there, either here or in Montgomery. What you got for us?
Yeah, this week has been Spring Bash. It's been just a fun opportunity to get students out, pizza, that kind of stuff. I think that's probably been our most fun thing of the week. And that is continuing, I guess, for the next couple of days, right? Yep, the whole week. And go ahead. No, I was going to say it's just in the lobby of Building 2000 up on the hill in South Charleston, and it's mostly lunchtime events because we don't have classes from 12 to 1. It's a transition period. And so it's a time when we have morning students who just come to school in the morning are still on campus and students who come a little early for their afternoon classes. And we have a lot of overlap. So it's a good, busy time. I want to close with this. I know we have a lot of parents, grandparents listening to the show, perhaps some students as well, but the ones that are getting ready to graduate from high school, and you and I could talk about this in the coming months, but now, if you're a senior
senior in high school right now, you've probably had whatever your particular graduation day is marked on the calendar for some time. To the parents or grandparents or guardians that may be listening that has a son or daughter that's thinking about what they're going to do post high school, why should they consider BridgeValley? And I know you have people of all ages, I get that, but I want to focus on these folks now, these young people. Why should they take a look at BridgeValley?
Oh, my gosh. Well, so they can stay close to home. It's incredibly affordable. We are directly preparing folks for jobs. And so we really think a lot about what are the jobs that exist here in the Valley. So if you want to be able to live here in a place that you love and be with people who you love, this is exactly the perfect location.
All right. To give folks the website for more information.
It's bridgevalley.edu.
Dr. Casey Sachs, always a pleasure. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dave.
Dr. Casey Sachs, BridgeValley. It is 9:17. Do you remember back when you were in high school? And I don't remember when it was, what the exact date was that I graduated, but I probably had it on a calendar circled somewhere about, I don't know, by the time I was in like 7th or 8th grade. Probably had that particular date. My graduation, I don't know why I just happened to think about this. We graduated class of 88, Logan High School, 1988. Let me see. So I would have I think we graduated in the morning, probably went to Morrison's Drive-In, got a hot dog or 3, and then went on the air in radio. That was my graduation trip was to my job at the now deceased WLOG radio, which was through no fault of my own. I had nothing to do with that company. Business. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you're injured, visit forthepeople.com. Big changes coming to the world of high school sports. We'll talk to Fred Persinger about that coming up. Proposed changes. And Fred will break it all down for you. We broke the story yesterday on Metro News Midday with Amanda Barrett and myself. Fred's going to come back. And now that the dust is starting to settle a little bit on the decisions that were made yesterday, we've got information available on the website. We'll talk to Fred about that a little bit later on. Plus, we're counting down the hours till midnight over at the state capitol, and Wilson and Meadows are live with Metro News Talk Line from there starting at 10:06. We'll check in with them a little bit later on, and also we've got festivities associated with National Library Week. Megan Tarbett is with the Putnam County Library System. She'll join us here momentarily. Plus your calls and texts are welcome anytime throughout the show. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-5008. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Have you been injured in a trucking incident?
Call today. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
I'm John Carruthers, the owner of Best Virginia Heating and Cooling. I'm born and raised right here in West Virginia. I've got 3 daughters, so I absolutely care who comes into my home. Every technician we send to your home has been drug tested and background checked. I guarantee the best client experience or your money back. We have the best team and the best processes built around a 5-star experience. Call Best Virginia today at 681-655-1214.
The free Metro News TV app is the place to watch The Voice of West Virginia. See Talkline with Dave and TJ, Sportsline with Tony Caridi, 3 Guys Before the Game, and coming soon the Morning News, Metro News Middays, and Hotline with Dave Weekly right on your smart TV or streaming device. Get the Metro News Television app from the Apple App Store or Google Marketplace. Metro News Television is powered by Dan Cava GMC, Gomart, Lou Windle Marine, the Stike Team at Wealth Enhancement Group, and Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
The latest in news, talk, and sports when 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Call 304-344-9140 for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
It is 9:21. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Welcome back to the show. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Meeks Rentals and Leasing. Comprehensive property management services, including marketing, tenant screening, maintenance, and rent collection. Visit meeksrentals.com. Bigley Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. We'll take you live to the Capitol as we close out the show a little bit later on. TJ Meadows and Dave Wilson, Metro News Talk Line live from the Capitol 10:06 this morning. We will check in with them a little bit before 10 o'clock or so if they're scheduled. Lots of guys are busy running around getting interviews, so normally they'll make time for me. That's coming up a little bit later on. Also, Fred Persinger, the voice of high school sports in West Virginia, will stop by to talk about this reclassification. And imagine that. Fred's got opinions. Fred's got opinions about it. We'll talk to Fred about that a little bit later on. It's National Library Week across America, and I focused a little on this during the midday show yesterday, but I wanted to bring it a little closer to home by speaking with Megan Tarbett, who is the director of the Putnam County Library System. She joins us this morning in the Jarrett Construction Studios. Megan, welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone. Happy National Library Week.
National Library Week. Is there cake, a sash, or anything?
No, but there are books.
There are books, and there are a lot of, but it's a lot more than just books, as we learned on the Metro News Midday Show but yesterday. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the locations for the libraries in Putnam County.
Sure.
Where are they?
Sure. We have 5 locations. So the main library is just past Liberty Square, so in Tays Valley right there. We have a branch by the Hurricane Middle School. And then in North Putnam, we have branches in Buffalo, Eleanor, and Poca. And we also now have a mobile unit that goes out to community events that can come out to communities just themselves if they want to give us a call, if they're having like a block party or something. And so we'll bring the library to you as well as you coming to us.
Well, and I think that's really interesting because, I mean, I go to a lot of events, being in Putnam County, and I see you at the events in Hurricane and Winfield. I mean, you guys just show up and spread the good news of libraries, right?
We do, and we are even expanding some programming into Winfield that doesn't have a physical library location, so we take the mobile library over and we do some programs in the summer. We do our program that we call Baby Show Choir. It's story time without the stories. We just sing and dance, but we do it over in Winfield at the pavilion by the boat launch, and it's so pretty over there. So we're trying to hit everybody where they are, and not expecting everyone to come to us, but we're trying to also take it out to everybody.
Oddly enough, you've never asked me to be a part of the singing and dancing.
You're welcome anytime.
Are you sure about that? Really?
You asked.
Really? You hit on this at the top, man. Again, we're talking to Megan Tarbett from the Putnam County Library System about the services that are offered. Mm-hmm. I mean, automatically people think books, but there's a whole lot more to it than that.
Goodness, yes. We like to say that we are there to help you with the business of life. A lot of our branches, especially like our Buffalo branch, we see a lot of people who need notaries, who need things printed. They don't have printers at home. They don't have internet at home. So they come to the library. We help them out. We help them get things, like I said, their emails printed if they need it. All of my full-time staff members are notaries, and we try to guarantee that even in the evening hours at the main library and on Saturdays. I mean, we try to do, as much as we can, as well as the books. And our biggest priority is programming. So we schedule about a little less than 500 programs a year for the 5 branches. So that's
what are some of those programs?
We have a story time, like 4 days a week, but in all 5 locations. Mm-hmm, so everyone for the pre-K. And then we do some adult programming, like last Saturday, one of our Putnam County Master Gardeners came in to do a cooking demo of plants you can grow from our seed library. Every branch of the Putnam County Library has a seed library. So you come check out the seeds. I'm quoting. You can't see me because I'm on radio. Quote, borrow the seeds.
We do have cameras in here, but they're not on yet.
Okay.
But they will be.
Okay. And then if you grow something and it produces a seed at the end, you can bring it back in and we can put it back into the seed library, or you can just kind of take things to grow as well. So
and again, some of the other things that offered at, I mean, not just, and I know you're here for Putnam County Libraries, but we have great libraries here in Kanawha County as well. And
we're friends.
And throughout that, everybody works together.
That's right.
I mean, you'd be surprised the things that you can get from the library other than just books.
Yeah, and we are geocache station, so we still see people come in looking for the clues. At one point, we had a geocache kit to check out. We have a limited amount, but we do have mobile hotspots. So if you're traveling to a place where, you might need internet that isn't provided, you can come borrow a hotspot. If you're in the library itself, there are public access computers in our computer lab. We have laptops we can loan you while you're in the library, so you can go to a quiet corner and type up something if you need, use the Wi-Fi. No institution can be everything to everyone, but the library sure tries.
We're talking with Megan Tarbett from the Putnam County Library System, and the one in Charleston, of course, you can get tools and everything from there.
Yeah.
And I know there's several that followed that same model. And plus, they're great places to have meetings as well.
They are. We see a lot of HOAs on Saturdays at the Putnam County Library. We see a lot of tutors in the evening. So we love having the kids in and helping them with homework and everything like that. It can be an exciting place to be. It's not always quiet.
That's one of the things, you see these stereotypes of the library and whatever. That's not the case in your places.
Definitely not. I'm usually the loudest person in any room. We know that. But we want people to have fun. It's not a museum. It's not a mausoleum of books. There are quiet.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, there are quiet times. There are study times, but also, we want joy in there too. So after a story time, the last thing we have them do is say their ABCs as loud as they can, and they get so excited about just kind of letting it loose. So 30 toddlers just screaming their ABCs, and there's nothing quite like it.
But Dave Allen Show and 580 Live, presented in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Great season of Dirty Birds baseball coming up at Go-Mart Ballpark. Tuesdays, $2 Tuesdays, $2 tickets, popcorn, hot dogs, sodas, and more. Wednesdays, bring your dogs to the park for Woof Wednesday. Thursdays, Thirsty Thursdays, $1 beers and water. Fridays are Freebie Fridays with free giveaways. Fireworks after the game on Saturdays, and Sundays are family fun days. Kids 12 and under get in for free. For more, visit dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Talk about the changing role of libraries over the years, because in the internet age, there would be those who may say, well, who in the heck goes to a library anymore? Libraries, like everything else, have adapted and the things that you do, but a lot of people still use libraries for a lot of different things.
They do, and it may surprise people, but the physical books are still what goes out the most. We have, users of our digital libraries, so you can come in, get a card, never come in ever again, but you can get your books to your phone, to your tablets. But we've adapted to also being, like we mentioned, that tech help, because we don't want anyone left behind in what we call the digital divide.
Right. Yeah.
So, people who can access devices are a step ahead of everyone else. So, we do computer classes. If someone comes in with a problem, we've had people come in with a new device, like a new iPhone, a new iPad, like maybe someone's son, bought it to them for Christmas and they don't know how to start it. So we'll sit down with them, and there's no time limit, and we'll walk them through absolutely everything. So, as I said, we can't be everything to everyone, but we give it a good go. And
I know I'm a little bit partial to you guys, because that's where I live, and I've known you for a number of years. But it is amazing, what and the things that people will come in and ask for help with, and you guys always try your best. And if you don't know, you'll find somebody that knows.
Right. And that is the key to a good library. We don't have all the answers, but we will help you track them down. And in an age where there's almost too much information, we can help you parse out what's good information, what's not. We want everyone to kind of look at their sources, just like in news. You want a broad base of information, but you also want to know how to evaluate that. So we help people with those kind of skills as well.
What would you say to parents maybe that think, well, all this information that my kid needs is available on their device. We can get it on their tablet. We can get it on their phone. What would your advice be to parents about bringing kids up in the library system?
Sure, especially for the very, very young. The more words they hear, the better they're going to do in school. There are studies that show, if you don't say like 1 million plus words to a kid before they hit kindergarten, they're already vastly behind. So story times, even if they're wiggly, even if they're not sitting still, it's sinking in. Mm-hmm. It also teaches them early how to socialize with other kids, so that by the time they get to preschool, it's not it's not a shock. They've been around kids. They've, kind of learned how to interact, and it's good for the parents as well. Sometimes the moms and dads of Storytime are more excited to see their friends than the kids are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. We're talking to Megan Tarbett from the Putnam County Library System. Text says Putnam County Library rocks.
Nice.
So you got a fan.
Excellent.
You got a fan.
Appreciate that.
I want to ask you something, and I know we're not going to turn this political in any way. So I'm gonna go about this kind of lightly. I'm not going to get you fired or anyway. You're the boss. You can do what you want. But there has been over the last few years, there's been some concerns about libraries, and many people that, how can I say this? There are many people that think there's been an assault on learning and things of that nature by maybe well-intentioned people who think they're doing the right thing, but maybe they're not. How have you been able to kind of walk that fine line between, because we've heard about book bannings and things of that nature. How have you been able to walk that? And I don't want to get you in trouble here, but how have you been able to walk that fine line? And are you concerned about that on a daily basis?
Sure. We have a collection development policy. It doesn't tell us what to order, but it kind of gives us the scope of how we order, what we're looking for, to bring balance to a collection. And at our 5 locations, each branch manager orders the books for themselves. It's not like a big central order from the main library. So, we buy the bestsellers, there are recommended lists, but we evaluate those. It's not an automatic buy. And as I said, like each library has a different flavor of patrons. Like at the main library, everyone loves mysteries. So we may, that may be the genre we buy more. But at Eleanor, they like the inspirational love stories. So they buy more of those. So that helps, not having one person kind of buy everything. So, we're not just kind of focused on that one person's opinions, but we also are very aware of, like I said, trying to keep balance to the collection. If someone has a concern about a book, we have a process for that, and we have forever. You can fill out a form, we can evaluate it, and there are, options of things we can do. We can take a look at it. We can, choose to move it, remove it completely, or leave it be if it is actually where it needs to be, because we're not going to always get things right. There's a tricky kind of age switch between like 12 and 15 that sometimes the books end up back in the kids department. Sometimes they're moved up to teen. So nothing is static. We're absolutely welcome to conversations like that. But we do also believe that everyone has the right to choose what they read, and they can't choose for the next person.
Megan Tarbett, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. You guys are doing great things over there Putnam County with the library system. I had on the midday show, I had the director of the Marion County system with Amanda and me yesterday on the show. Also some great things going on in our libraries. And I think people, again, the takeaway should be that your library has not become the Model T. It's not going away, and it's not going away anytime soon, and there's a lot of good things going on there. Give us your website for more information.
Sure. PutnamLibraryWV.org.
All right. Megan, appreciate you being here. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Husson's Pizza. Get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a large tossed salad for $21.99. Eat in, pick up, or get delivery by going to Husson'sPizza.com. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. We'll go live to the Capitol for Wilson and Meadows as we close out the show. But coming up next, the voice of high school sports in West Virginia, Fred Persinger. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
According to Feeding America, over 7 million seniors nationwide were food insecure in 2022. West Virginia is no different. Hi, I'm Jason, President and CEO of Union Mission Ministries. For 113 years, Union Mission has focused on helping people in need. Right now, our senior citizens need our help. That is why Union Mission is partnering with local senior living facilities to get food delivered directly to those in need. Will you help us reach more seniors? Visit unionmission.com to learn more.
50 years after the Vietnam War, there are still 17 West Virginia veterans missing in action. The upcoming series, Bring Them Home, tells their stories, including that of Lieutenant John Scott Albright of Huntington. In December 1968, Lieutenant Albright and an air commando unit of 7 collided with another American aircraft over Laos, leaving only one survivor. If you knew Lieutenant John Albright, we need your help. please contact our research team at lostvalleystudios@gmail.com or visit the Bring Them Home Facebook page if you have any information regarding Lieutenant Albright. Please help us tell his story and bring him home.
I'm Doug Leach, founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. We've done a number of projects with Jarrett Construction. Finding people that really care about what they do and care about what we do is pretty unique. In Jarrett Construction, they care. They're really, really good people. Good people do the right thing, and they're very skilled. They have all the qualities that make up just a perfect construction partner, and they just built us a phenomenal building.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
Transforming your land with a John Deere compact tractor is as easy as connect, latch, load, haul, spread. Cutting grass is as simple as roll, click, mow. Box blading is as effortless as hook, lock, grade. And backhoeing is as convenient as turn around, switch, dig. Because when you've got the versatility to tackle just about any job and dealer support in your own backyard, you just have to get in the seat. Find the right compact tractor for you at johndeere.com.
23 minutes in front of 10 on this Wednesday edition of the show. Ryan Nicholson, senior producer, is in charge of things on the other side of the glass this morning. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor, text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Live Healthy, West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and RSV. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond West Virginia. Great resource. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetronews.com, under the podcast menu, and start your journey towards better health today. Text says, Dave, put all the information out there regarding banning inappropriate materials in libraries. It's for school libraries only. It has nothing to do with public libraries, bookstores, etc. Well, I would agree with that to a certain extent, but I can tell you that and Megan and I were having this conversation off the air, and she's seen it in her own library system. Frequently what happens is people that aren't everyday regular users of libraries printing something off the internet, getting it from a political action committee or whatever, and coming in and looking for those items in a public library, shaking their fist, because this has actually happened locally, coming in and saying, we want these things off the shelves, whereas if you did not get that information, if you weren't provided that information, you would never know they were there to begin with. So that's kind of where we were going there. But I do appreciate the texter. Fred Persinger, the voice of high school sports in West Virginia, is here. How are you, man?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I am doing fine. Did you learn anything in my interview with Megan from the library system?
I learned that that last statement that you just made is so very, very true, about people complaining about things that they didn't even know were there until this doesn't affect them at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
So, you know.
All right. So, announcement came down, Frederick, yesterday. Greg Carey writes about it, WVMetronews.com. The Board of Control, which is one of the more ominous sounding names of a board in the English language. The Board of Control of the West Virginia SSAC unanimously approved a proposal yesterday for high schools to be classified based on total enrollment figures of grades 9 through 12 based on the enrollment figures from the State Department of Education. The vote was 150-0, or nil, as they say in the world of soccer. And the board is made up of high school and middle school principals from across the state. So we talked about it on the Metro News Midday Show yesterday. Break that all down for us. Why were they talking about this? Just tell us your story, Fred.
No one was happy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, you know, I could see why, particularly in Quad A. And this is mostly about football.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time last year, they used 4 classes. And, you know, I've said it many, many times. I'm not a fan of 4 classes in West Virginia. I just don't think the state is large enough. I think we stretch it, to be honest with you, when we go to 3 classes. But 3 classes to me works. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But so they went to 4 classes in football for the first time. And in Quad A, the biggest classification of schools, ended up with 16 teams. Well, 16 teams make the playoffs. So, hey, what the heck? You know, it didn't make any difference what you did in the regular season other than seeding. That's what happened. So they had to do something. the Board of Control, again, that you love so much, got together.
The Board of Control.
Now, this is an early meeting. They don't normally meet in early April, but they did for this particular reason because they want this new classification standard to go into effect this coming fall. Okay? And it will. And it'll be in effect for 2 years. But they came away with not using the socioeconomic or close to a hub of a big city or anything. And they just went totally as far as enrollment goes.
Right.
Which is, to me, the best way to do it. I'm still not a fan of, as far as football goes, using every student in the school for football classifications because, let's be fair, they don't play. They just don't play. Girls don't play football. You may have a kicker every now and then, but for the most part, girls don't play high school football.
Right, yeah.
So I've always said, let's just count the boys and see where you land. But that's fell on deaf ears like a lot of my suggestions. I don't know why that is, Dave, but that's the way it is. So they came up with a deal where if you have an enrollment of 1,050 or more, you're in class quad A. That will encompass 20 schools this year. An enrollment of 625 to 1,049, that's class AAA, that will be 29 schools. With an enrollment of 351 to 624, that'll be class AA, that's 31 schools, and the remaining number of schools will be in single A, that's with an enrollment of 350 or less, that's 39 schools. Now that's 119 high schools. However, only 111 play football.
Right.
So, and most of those are in single A, so you can take 8 or so out, and it's relatively close percentage-wise as to the number of teams in AA, AAA, and single A. Quad A still only 20, but that's better than 16. Okay,
right.
Now I heard some folks. My wife loves me for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, but I was going to say,
but last
you're
night,
a lovable guy.
Last night, phones are ringing and people wanting to talk. Well, that's not fair if they put it in effect this year because my schedule doesn't have at least 6 teams in whatever division I'm in now.
Yeah.
They've waived that. That doesn't make any difference. You could play all single A if you want to. It doesn't make any difference for this year, okay? So it gives you time to set your schedule. Now, this used to be classifications were for 4 years. Well, now they've backed it down to 2 years and see how enrollment changes. Interesting to note that there were only in the top 20 teams, biggest enrollment in the Quad A, only 4 teams gained enrollment from last year.
Okay.
Martinsburg, Jefferson, Washington, all in the Eastern Panhandle. And Beckley. But Beckley only gained like 5 students, I think the number was. So is this better than it was? Yes. I don't think you're ever going to have a situation where it's, wow, this is perfect.
Where everybody's on board and everybody says this is what we want.
Because I guarantee you, the school that has one less or one more student that would put them in a lower class, they're not happy. But they've never been happy with this. The only thing that I know that's going to be unhappy are the class single A schools where all the private schools, Charleston Catholic went back from a AA to a single A, Wheeling Central Catholic that won the basketball championships this year, they went back from a AA to a single A. So they're not happy about that. I promise you that. But they also put into this that I was told last night, there's no appeals. This is the way it's going to be.
Okay.
You can't appeal.
Okay.
That's why I think it went 150 to nothing. Is what they kind
well, is that because the people didn't want it to end up? I mean, we saw it in high school playoffs when I had you on the air for several days in a row to kind of update us with what was going on there. Is that games should be played on the gridiron and not in the courtroom?
Yeah, in fact, it cost us a week. We had to bump everything a week, and then you have to start thinking about, the city of Charleston that had everything ready to go. Well, we're not going to go now.
But their first year back hosting.
Exactly. They loved it, I guarantee you. So the appeals are out. This is the way it's going to be. Now, this thing still has to go, and for somebody says 60 days. I thought it was 30. Maybe it is 60 days for public opinion, but it's 60 days. And then has to sit in the Secretary of State's office for 30 days.
Yeah.
And now you're getting down to where you're close, and the Board of Education will approve it. They will approve it since it was passed 150 to nothing.
Yeah.
They will approve it. It'll go in effect come August of 2025. this year.
Couple of questions for you. I saw somebody on the artist formerly known as Twitter who said that, and there's a lot of people that go along with this, is that a lot of these private schools, you mentioned a Charleston Catholic or Wheeling Central, some of these schools, they should all be in one class together, just them. Where are you on that?
No, it used to be.
Yeah.
It was they had the Catholic school state tournament several years ago. And then they became a part of the SSAC. And no, I disagree 100%. 100%. And let's be fair here now. With the legislature getting involved in a couple of years ago, you can go recruit too. They always say the private schools recruit. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. I've not been privy to any of that. But again, if they do, they do. But you can too, Coach. And it happens all the time.
Yeah,
it happens. You see some kid out there, hey, come over to my school because we've got a better this and that, or whatever the case may be. Used to you couldn't do that at all in the public school situation. Well, but you can now. You weren't supposed to.
You weren't supposed to do that. Let's remember where I'm from, Fred.
Yes.
Okay, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, but evidently they didn't do that great a job of it. I mean,
well, we invented it down there.
There you go.
All right, so let me ask you this: what about our area schools? I mean, people here in the Kanawha Valley. Just give me an example of what changes this would mean for schools in the valley, the home schools here in the valley. Any changes?
No, not really. I mean, you did
mention Charleston Catholic,
right?
Okay.
Well, Charleston Catholic went from AA to single A, and Wheeling Central from AA to single A. Capital was in AAA. They're still going to stay in AAA. It's it does not really any changes from what it was last year as far as the local schools here in the valley.
Okay, all right.
No, not really.
All right. Well, Fred, we got an in-depth story about it posted on the website.
Greg Carey did great. I sent him the story yesterday, and I guess within like 5 minutes he had it he had it posted. So. And that is directly from the SSAC. That's not guys just getting their thoughts and putting it out there. That was a release from the SSAC that Greg put together.
All right. It's available at WVMetroNews.com. Fred, I appreciate, as always, you coming in here and explaining this to us.
It's always fun to see you and Ryan. And it's a fun time.
Yeah. We kind of like it.
It's nice studios, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's really cool.
Yeah. Now, I don't have to be back for Metro News Midday, do I?
No, you're done. You're done for the day, I think, unless something happens between now and then.
And it might.
Yeah.
It might. But again, I think, Dave, this is as good as it's going to get for a while, I do believe. So let's just go with it, and let's play ball in August.
Hopefully play ball and keep the courts out of it.
I think you will. I do. Okay.
All right. The voice of high school sports in West Virginia, Fred Persinger. I appreciate you joining us, man. Thanks a lot. Let me see. Let me knock out a couple texts here because I do have a couple texts totally unrelated to this. Somebody sent me an article from the Wall Street Journal, which I've read this. I do appreciate it, about the dollar confidence crisis is here. And they just refer to it as happy times. So yeah, I'll try to get into that a little bit later on. Do want to remind you that the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Their services involve developing comprehensive management plans to outline strategies for controlling and minimizing asbestos exposure, perfect for commercial property owners and managers. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
Poca Valley Bank has a new name. We are now simply Poca Valley, and here is why we're changing. Our place in the community goes beyond banking. While we still provide the finest in banking services, we also bring excellence in wealth management and financial planning, accounting, and bookkeeping services. Whether you're planning for the future or managing today, we offer the expertise you need. With 8 convenient locations, we're here to help you thrive. Discover the difference at Poca Valley. Relationships matter. Member FDIC.
Retirement is more than a dream. It's a destination. Yet the journey can feel uncertain. At 4th Avenue Financial, they guide you with expertise and care. They help you navigate the questions. Am I on the right track? Or how do I ensure lasting income? Tailoring plans to your unique vision. They bring peace of mind to your retirement journey. Trust in their experience, proven through every market's ebb and flow. 4th Avenue Financial. Retirement done right. Get started at 4thavenuefinancial.com.
Securities offered through Jenny B. Cole Financial Incorporated. Member FINRA. Advisory services offered through Jenny B. Cole Advisors Incorporated.
I'm John Carruthers, the owner of Best Virginia Heating and Cooling. Here at Best Virginia, we believe in providing a 5-star experience for your family. That's why we're always looking for hungry, humble, smart people to join our team. Our technicians are drug tested and background checked. If you want to work with a locally owned and operated company that truly values you and our customers, we want to hear from you. To apply, simply visit bestvirginiahvac.com or Indeed to view our open positions.
9 minutes away from 10. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. Older adults should protect themselves against severe respiratory disease. Talk to your doctor about flu, COVID-19, and RSV vaccines. Risk less. Do more. Get started. Vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. We will go live to the Capitol from Wilson and Meadows coming up in just a bit as they get ready for Metro News Talk Line at 10:06. Text says, Dave, is it April Fool's Day? That's what it seemed like yesterday with the West Virginia delegation was in D.C. letting Trump blow smoke up their hind ends. Republicans are holding West Virginia back by focusing on coal. We need to move forward. I'm going to get into that myself in just a matter of moments. I do want to tell you, though, coming up on tomorrow's show, Shantae Ellis is here to talk about the Walk to End Racism. We'll spend a little time talking about that and some things going on out at Grits Farm. That's on tomorrow's show. Now, Metro News Midday, 13 News, and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and myself comes on the air at noon. It's Wednesday, which means we spotlight a West Virginia doing great things in their community segment we call Wonderful West Virginians. That's coming up. We'll get into that. Plus, we are going to talk a little bit more about the Trump, and this is what the texter was referring to, the Trump executive orders on coal. We'll do a deep dive into that. Plus, we'll spend some time talking about the child care issue in West Virginia. Terrell Ellis, frequent guest of this show from Advantage Valley. She'll join us on the statewide show today. First Lady Denise Morrissey will be stopping by the studio today. We're celebrating organ donations all month long on the show. We'll get into that. Republican strategist Rob Cornelius is here, and after 2:30, a thing we call Open Line West Virginia. Nothing but your calls and text on anything going on in the news or whatever happens to be on your mind. Metro News Midday on this and many other Metro News stations around the state, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. 13 News and Night Live anchor Amanda Barron and myself coming up at noon today. So I'll skip that story and maybe get into that a little bit later on. So on to Trump. Chris Lawrence with the lead story this morning, WVMetroNews.com. Yesterday, the president, surrounded by coal miners, many from West Virginia, signed a series of executive orders calling for the increased use of fossil fuels, including coal. Now, one of the announced plans would delay a large number of both coal and nuclear plants that were set to be retired this year. Chris Hamilton of the Coal Association says in the story there are around 42 plants set to be closed this year. He says we may see those plants ordered to stay open. The second order would authorize the leasing of mining rights on federal lands and to designate coal as a quote-unquote critical material. He has authorized the Justice Department to go after states with anti-coal policies and to work to reverse those policies on constitutional grounds. And I urge you again to go to the website and read Chris Lawrence's story, very in-depth. And many people, let me give full disclosure here, I can't really be objective when it comes to coal, and I don't have to be because I'm not a journalist. Coal has been a very important part of my life. I mean, you know where I'm from. My father and my mother both employed in the coal industry. My wife's father, a coal miner. Everything that I have in my life, somehow I owe to the coal industry. And I hope it's not too late for coal, but I fear it is. Coal mining jobs have been decreasing for some time. Now, the Obama administration, followed by the Biden administration, they didn't kill the coal industry, but they didn't help by any stretch of the imagination. Coal carried this state for many, many years. It is worth noting, though, coal jobs actually went down under the Trump administration first term. He was elected and supported by many coal miners and coal organizations based on the fact that he would bring the coal industry back and has not as of yet. Maybe this time will be different. I hope I'm wrong, but market had a lot to do with that as well. But again, you'll never hear anything coal negative coming out of this old boy's mouth. Text says, Dave, President Trump has kept his promises to West Virginia and other states using common sense with his energy policies. Thank you, President Trump, says a texter. Text says, who's going to buy the coal that's mined? China, the EU, India, all countries with more tariffs? That's a legitimate question. All right. Let's go to the Capitol and let's check in with Wilson and Meadows and see what's okay. They said they were there. They sent me a text and said they were there. So maybe they lied. Somebody opened up a breakfast buffet. That's what happened. Wilson sent me a text about 5 minutes ago and said, okay,
I'm here.
He is there. Where was the breakfast buffet today, sir?
What breakfast buffet? I've been sitting here with the headphones on, and I hear you in mid-sentence say, well, he was at a breakfast buffet.
I was saying because you...
It was downstairs, by the way.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. You sent me a text and said that you were there, and then when we go to Ryan, you weren't there. And so I said, well, hell, somebody's opened up a breakfast buffet. I
am here. I've been standing by patiently and eagerly awaiting. This is the highlight of my day, Dave Allen.
I got it. So the hours, they are counting down, sir, till 12:01 Sunday morning / Saturday night. What's under the dome today?
Well, that is a good question. Governor Morrissey's going to stop by our set, hopefully here at 10:06.
We've got the First Lady on Metro News Midday today. She'll be in studio today. So yeah,
awesome. We got it all covered then.
Yeah,
we'll talk to him about his microgrids bill that was in a Senate committee yesterday. Economic Development got out with some changes. We'll talk to him about that. Plus President Trump's executive orders about coal. A couple of things keeping an eye on. The Senate has its budget bill up for third reading. That'll get laid over, and they will work on the House budget bill, and then the back and forth really gets underway to get that bill reconciled on both sides of the legislature down here. There are some minor things we're keeping our eyes on as far as bills go, but I don't get a sense of a lot of tension down here at the legislature this year as we come up on the Saturday night deadline. There will be things happening, obviously, trying to get some bills to the finish line, but the microgrids bill is the big one that we're keeping an eye on. Everything else is kind of, it either gets there or it doesn't.
Where's the DEI? Where is that now?
That's a good question. That's over on the House side.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, that is not one of the ones I was personally watching yesterday.
I just know there was some interest in, and there's actually been a lot of interest in those three letters throughout this session, but I don't know that a whole heck of a lot has been done on. Let me ask you your opinion of something, okay? As we close out the show, your opinion is President Trump, and you heard me talking about it if you listen on the whole. President Trump has that presser yesterday, surrounded by a bunch of West Virginia coal miners. That says he's going to do all these things that I mentioned there to try to spur and bring the coal industry back. Is there optimism amongst those that support coal under the dome there?
There is some optimism that you have an executive in the White House who supports and is not actively trying to end that industry. Okay. Now, does an executive order get you there? Does that give you certainty for the next 2 decades moving forward? I don't know that it does that. Let me put it that way.
You and I are kind of in the same place on that. So, all right, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Meadows, we will be listening to Metro News Talk Line from the Capitol, 10:06. Thanks a lot.
Love you, Dave.
Yes. Don't ever say that to me again. All right. Coming up on this show tomorrow, we'll talk more about the walked-in racism in Charleston, plus the folks from Grits Farm are going to join us tomorrow. I'll be back with Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Coming up at noon today on this and many other Metro News stations. My producer, Ryan Nicholson, thank you so much. I will see you later today. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.